The Zephyrian War Council had dismissed humanity as another, primitive species when they first encountered the small blue planet. Their advanced reconnaissance had shown a world divided by petty conflicts, lacking unified planetary defense systems. The decision to harvest Earth's resources seemed logical to eliminate the indigenous population and strip mine the mineral-rich world for their expanding empire. They had not expected Sarah Chun. Captain Marcus Rodriguez stood at attention in the sterile briefing room aboard the UES Retribution, watching the holographic replay of the Zephyrian attack on New Singapore colony. The footage showed sleek alien vessels descending through the atmosphere like silver tears, their weapons painting the sky with deadly crimson light, families running, children screaming. And then silence. The Zephyrians targeted civilian populations. First, Admiral Hassan's voice cut through the silence. Standard doctrine for them: break the spirit, then harvest the resources. They didn't account for human nature. Rodriguez studied the tactical display. 37 colonies obliterated in the first wave. 14 million human lives extinguished in a matter of hours. Among them, Dr. Sarah Chun's husband and 2 young daughters on Kepler 442b. "Where is Dr. Chun now?" Rodriguez asked. "Biological Research Station Omega. She's been working non-stop since the attacks." The Admiral's expression darkened. "Marcus, what she's created, it changes everything." 3 days later, Rodriguez found himself in the depths of Earth's most classified research facility. Dr. Chin looked like she hadn't slept in weeks, her eyes hollow, her usually pristine lab coat stained with chemical residue. She stood before a sealed containment unit, her hands trembling slightly as she entered final calculations into her tablet. "They thought they understood biology," she said without looking up. "The Zephyrians pride themselves on their genetic superiority, perfect immune systems, perfect adaptation mechanisms. They've conquered 17 species by introducing tailored plagues that target specific genetic markers." Rodriguez watched her work, noting the careful precision of each movement. And now? Now they face something they've never encountered before: human ingenuity born from human grief. She finally turned to face him, and he saw something in her eyes that made him take an involuntary step back. It wasn't madness. It was the cold, calculating fury that only came from absolute purpose. "Show me," he said. Dr. Chun activated the containment display. Inside, what looked like ordinary water swirled in complex patterns, occasionally flashing with bioluminescent sparks. They call it the perfect plague. It reads Zephyrian DNA like a book and rewrites it like poetry. Their own adaptive mechanisms become the delivery system. "How long?" Rodriguez asked, though he wasn't sure he wanted to know. 72 hours from first exposure to complete species extinction. It spreads through their atmospheric processors, their water systems, even their advanced life support technology. The more sophisticated their biology, the faster it works. Rodriguez stared at the innocuous-looking substance. In any other context, he might have called it elegant. Today, it looked like justice in liquid form. "The Ethics Committee will never approve this," he said finally. The Ethics Committee didn't watch their children die. Dr. Chun's voice remained steady, but Rodriguez could hear the steel underneath. "The Zephyrians made their choice when they decided we were expendable. Now, they live with the consequences. All of them, even the ones who opposed the invasion. Did they spare the children of New Singapore?" The question hung in the air like a challenge. Did they show mercy to the elderly on Kepler Prime? Did they hesitate before they turned 37 worlds into graveyards? Rodriguez found he had no answer to that. The deployment was classified at levels so high that most of Earth's government didn't know it existed. A single stealth probe launched from the outer rim of the Sol system, carrying Dr. Chun's creation toward the Zephyrian homeworld. No fanfare, no declarations of war. Just cold, methodical execution of a sentence humanity had written in its own blood. Admiral Hassan monitored the probe's progress from the command center, watching as it slipped past Zephyrian sensor networks, like a ghost carrying death. Beside him, Dr. Chun sat motionless, her eyes fixed on the tactical display. Deployment. Successful, the communications officer reported. The package has been released into their atmosphere. How long until we know? Hassan asked. Initial reports should come through their own communication networks within 48 hours. Dr. Chun replied. They'll think it's a natural plague at first. By the time they realize what's happening, it will be too late to stop. The reports began arriving exactly as Dr. Chun had predicted. Zephyrian colonies across 3 star systems reported the sudden appearance of a virulent plague that targeted their species with impossible precision. Their medical technology, so advanced it had seemed like magic to the species they'd conquered, proved useless against an organism designed by someone who understood both their biology and their psychology. Within 60 hours, the Zephyrian Empire was gone. Rodriguez stood in the observation deck of the UE's Retribution, watching the stars and thinking about proportional response. Humanity had been attacked by a superior force and had responded by erasing that force from existence entirely. It should have felt like victory. Instead, it felt like the universe had become a lonelier place. Any regrets? Dr. Chun's voice came from behind him. He turned to find her looking older than her years, the weight of genocide visible in every line of her face. She was a mother who had lost everything and a scientist who had created the impossible. You tell me, he said. Was it worth it? She was quiet for a long moment, staring out at the stars that no longer held Zephyrian ships. They killed my babies, Marcus. My little girls who wanted to be scientists like Mommy. And they did it not out of hatred or fear, but because they saw us as inconvenient. That doesn't answer my question. Yes, it does. She met his eyes, and he saw that the fury was still there, banked but not extinguished. They taught the universe what happens when you make humans inconvenient. Now maybe the next species will remember that before they decide we're expendable. As the UE's Retribution turned toward home, carrying the woman who had written in Empires. Obituary and genetic code, long-range sensors detected something new. 17 previously conquered worlds were sending out signals, not distress calls, but songs of celebration. The slaves were free. The oppressed were dancing in streets their masters would never walk again. Dr. Sarah Chun had killed a species to save her family's memory. In doing so, she had liberated 17 others. The universe was indeed a lonelier place. It was also, perhaps, a more careful one.